this is post-mortem, people saying, well, the abortion issue cost the Republicans, more House seats. I want to get your assessment on that.
My sense is this: for those of us who believe in the right of every child to be born, what we can't do in the face of whatever the actual results or whatever the impact was, we can't walk away from this commitment. This isn't a political commitment. This is our understanding of human dignity and the right of every human being to be born. So we not only must continue to defend it, but to your point, Jordan, we've got to continue to explain it. When you talk with those who have a different view, they have no capacity to tell you precisely what rule it is they want in place. And so they have two things going for them. They have a ton of money because there is the abortion industrial complex that is alive and well and makes hundreds of millions of dollars, a big business all across America. And there are deeply vested interests that spend, to spend $6 or $8 million on an ad campaign in Montana is easy because you are a big economic winner from that. And then there are those who just simply don't understand the basics. And we have to articulate that. Different states are going to pick different points. Not all of them are going to end up where Mike Pompeo would like them to end up.
Exactly.
But we have to go out and make the case in each place and protect as many of the unborn as we possibly can. And when we do, and we do it with joy, not anger, not fear-mongering in our own way, but making the case and the argument for life, I'm convinced will prevail.
Here's what happened. By removing the club of Roe versus Wade, this, purported constitutional right that did not exist in the Constitution, that Ruth Bader Ginsburg said not really there, okay? By removing that club of constitutional protection, it returns the issue to the state. But it did remove this club of saying you're interfering with my constitutional right. The question then becomes, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, 4 decades of pro-life litigation, and the truth of the matter is, I remember in the early days, and they were in Kansas, actually, Operation Rescue and the Summers of Mercy.
That's right.
And I was out in that courtroom for months litigating that all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Welcome to Wichita.
Well, I was in Wichita in the summer. It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot in August of 91.
But my co-counsel in the case at the Supreme Court I was representing the private parties, and the Deputy Solicitor General of the United States was representing the United States on our side, and that happened to be John Roberts. And we were arguing that they couldn't apply this federal law to these blockades. But in one of the cases, Justice Scalia wrote that opposition to abortion was not discrimination against women. He actually said it's not class-based animus. There's no equal protection clause violation, which was the basis upon which Justice Alito wrote the first part of the opinion saying no constitutional right. So there's the constitutional issue taken to the side. Then what happens is this. Jordan and I have been on these calls because we've been helping a lot of state AGs and a lot of governors have been calling. And some of the stuff that's coming out, even from some of the pro-life groups, are like, okay, this is not going to move the ball forward. So what we've got to figure out is how do we advance it? Like you said, it's not going to be every bill we like, but we had an informed consent case in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeal for Governor Noem. But of course, we won after Dobbs. My office was worrying about getting ready. We got to get ready for the oral argument. I said, if the leaked opinion's right, you don't have to worry about the subsequent arguments. But the challenge is going to be in this case is the education part, and we can't lose hope in our fight for life because a few either go to a crazy extreme, no exception even for the life of the mother, not the health, the life of. I mean, this is the support for that is zero. I mean, it's next to zero. But we had candidates running on that. Again, it's a free country. You can think what you want to think, but we cannot lose sight of the importance of this issue, though.
No, we can't because every one of these lives does matter, and everyone we can save is a good thing. It will take time. Roe did reset the conversation for sure. There were frankly conservatives who kind of they would never say this, but the fact that Roe was out there, they could kind of throw up their hands and say, gosh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. And I've heard a few of those in quiet conversations. The truth is, now's the hard work. This is where we began the show. This is the hard work of winning the argument and of presenting a vision for what this will look like. And it may take us 5 years, 10 years, another 20 years. It is entirely possible. But I'm convinced when you do that, when you articulate a vision, when you make the case, when you explain and listen, then you will ultimately get to the right outcome here. We know the right outcome is to save as many of these babies as we can. And we can't lose sight of the fact that it's not going to happen by screaming and hollering. It is going to happen by winning and making progress and building a consensus around what we know to be true.